Hi, I'm Bill Mertens. My daughter Sarah asked me to relay an experience that I've had with nurses. Thought about it for a while and decided probably the most significant one for me was my experience with nurses as a family member rather than as a patient. My mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and had a long 7-year battle with it, a lot of chemotherapy, a lot of surgeries, and a lot of illness, and also a lot of good times, but it got to the point where there wasn't anything else to do, so she chose to go to inpatient hospice. So she was in hospice being cared for by a lot of people, the most important of which were nurses, for 32 days. A couple of the characteristics that stood out for me watching the nurses was their competence and knowledge in medicine. And they all displayed that, so they all knew what they were doing, which was very important. But they went beyond that and they got to know Mom personally. They built relationships with her, which I think enabled them to anticipate her needs and give her the most care and comfort during probably the most difficult time in anybody's life, the end of life. So one of the things that did for us as family members that spent a lot of time there was it gave us, watching the nurse's interaction with Mom gave us the confidence to be able to go home and get some sleep at night, which happens sometimes. And it was really cool to watch the nurses express a respect and a love for my mother as a person, not just as another one of their patients. It was very personal. Another thing they did for us as family members was provided a lot of counseling and comfort for us, helping us to understand the process of passing away and what we might expect and what could happen. And I know all experiences are unique, but they were able to provide us with kind of a rough path on what the future held, and it really helped us transition through that period easier. So after she'd been there more than a month, the doctors assessed her and told us that she was still pretty strong and probably would survive a while longer. At that point she was on pretty strong pain medication, so there wasn't a lot of direct communication with her. So our communication was mostly through the nurses. So the day before Mom passed away, the doctors had told us that she probably has a week or more. But the nurses told us that her journey was almost over, and we had built a lot of confidence in them. It wasn't like there was anything wrong with the doctor's assessment. It's just the nurses spent so much time with people and had so many experiences that they actually had a better feel for what was probably going to be next. So it was that night, around 2 or 3 in the morning, that the nurses called us and said that she was close. So we went down right away to be with her, and she passed away that afternoon. And her passing was peaceful, without pain, without fear, and all of us knew what to anticipate and were very grateful for the nurses' help in that process. And after she passed away, the nurses kind of took control of providing us the support and also the privacy to say our final goodbyes. And they all came through and expressed their sympathy and their love and respect for my mom. So I guess the bottom line is that for me, nurses are critical in treatment of people. Obviously you still need doctors to do surgeries and diagnosis and that kind of thing, but the hands-on care and love and respect that nurses show made all the difference, at least in this instance, for me and for my family. So I guess the final thought I'd leave you with is that I would rank nursing very high on the list of the most important and impactful jobs that there is. So anyway, that's it.